Hi, I'm Kesenya and welcome to Guiding Star Astrology. This is my summer series. We're going to be doing a series of short 10-minute or thereabouts videos looking at placements of planets in the 7th house. Now everybody's very intrigued by the 7th house because the 7th house correlates to other people and their role in our lives. It correlates to our marriage partners. It correlates to business partners. And when I say marriage partners, stepping back a little here, it correlates to people we commit to. So there's usually a written agreement or a contractual agreement, such as you buy a house together, you buy a car together, you open a bank account together, or you sign a marriage certificate together. These are the committed contractual agreements we see in the 7th house. So that is business partnerships, but it's also any committed type of personal relationships as well. Clients are also these contractual type of partnerships too. Someone pays you some money, they've therefore entered into a contract with you to provide a service as well. So these are the kind of realms governed by the 7th house, and of course they make a big difference and a big impact on how our lives unfold. So this summer, thanks for joining me, we're going to be exploring every Sunday for 10 minutes what it means to have one of these planets in the 7th house. So check out your chart. You can do so at astro.com, where you can bring up a chart, and in whole sign astrology you'll be looking for the house that sits exactly opposite your AC ascendant, and it will always have the DC point in it. The written letters DC will fall in your 7th house in whole sign astrology. So look for that DC, that's the descendant degree, and whatever sign that falls in is your 7th house in whole sign astrology. So let's get stuck into what it means now to have Rahu, the north node, in the 7th house. Well, a little bit about Rahu. This is our destiny point. This is where we're heading. This is what we are here to manifest and master in life. The north node is the energy that we're unfamiliar with. We haven't done this before in a past life, or if we have, it was so long ago our soul's forgotten the lessons that it learned, and we need to revisit the lessons. And so here we are in this lifetime learning to manifest and master the energy of the 7th house. In other words, we're learning to think about others. We're learning to be diplomatic. We're learning to be a peacemaker. We're learning to put others' needs first instead of our own. So essentially, we're coming from a first house perspective in life. That's where Ketu will sit, or the south node. And so we're really masters of our own needs, masters of independence, masters of self-initiation. Worst case scenario, we're quite selfish. But we are heading towards this north node in this lifetime, particularly around the age of 42. This north node energy will mature and we'll finally get it. We'll finally master what it means to have the north node in the 7th house and think about other people and collaborate with other people and be diplomatic and fair and charming and very focused on others, business partners, marriage partners, audience, and clients. Now, the north node, or Rahu, in the 7th house is a karaka for many marriages. It means we're going to marry a lot. So it might mean, it might necessarily mean that you're going to have a ring on the finger a lot of times, but you will be in many committed life partnerships, because part of what you're here to learn is all about relationships. And so you're a bit insatiable about it. Wherever the north node falls, we want more. Bring it on. We want to experience relationship and connection this lifetime. It's what we want to master. But as I said, up until the age 42, you're learning about it. And so when we're learning about things, we make a lot of mistakes. We do things and we muck it up. So you'll go into a committed relationship. It might last a year or something, and then it falls apart. And then you find someone new and you go into relationship, and this time it might last 2 years because you've learned a little bit more this time. And then it falls apart. So there is a lot of falling down and getting back up again with relationships as you learn how to master the energy of connection with others. So you're going to be very experimentative with relationships. You're going to also be very insatiable about having relationships. You want, because the north node, or Rahu, is very ravenous. Yum, yum, yum. It's the head of a dragon in mythology, and it wants to eat more and more and more and consume more and more and more. More relationships, please. Yes, thank you very much. So this is going to play out, and you'll be insatiable about relationships. You'll hunger for them. The North Node is also an indicator of things that are quite different. There's almost a little bit of an energy of Uranus to the North Node's capacity. And so you will be likely to marry someone who's just a little bit unusual, or you'll desire to be with partners who are a little bit unusual in some way. People who come from a different class than you, maybe a different belief system than you, maybe you come from a different culture than you, from overseas, from a foreign country or something like that. That can also manifest with the North Node here in the 7th house. And because the North Node, it wants what it doesn't have, and you will tend to therefore look to marry and make connections with partners who are up the social rung. You want to rise up in life, you want to achieve more in life, and so you'll marry people who are higher in the social scheme of things than you are. More influential, more affluence, whatever. That's what you'll tend to look for, and usually what you'll tend to find as well. Now, because the North Node is somewhat of a confusing influence, we can make a lot of mistakes. Like I said, we're learning this energy and we don't really understand it yet. We're here to master it, and we will master it, but not until our 40s. And until that time, we're making mistakes. North Node in the 7th house is a combo for the potential for being cheated on by someone else, or for being the one to cheat on a partner. No judgment here. That's just the way the wiring goes, and part of the lessons that you're here to learn. This is what I love about astrology. It takes away any sort of finger pointing and judgment and condemnation, because you're on a journey with your energy that you've incarnated with, and you're here to discover what that's all about. There is no blame. You are simply journeying to understand energy, to learn life lessons, to step up the evolutionary ladder of enlightenment. And in doing so, you need to experience all sorts of things. So this is simply one of the things that you may need to experience. It doesn't happen for everyone, but it is one of the indicators that the North Node in the 7th house can bring, cheating or being cheated on. So roll with that. If that occurs in your life, just know it's part of the karmic lessons of growth that you're here to experience. But the good thing is, it's also a placement for passion. So similar to Mars in this regard, that it brings a lot of passion, a lot of energy, a lot of sexuality to relationships. So this can be lots of fun. Now, marriage is also likely to manifest with some sort of a purpose in mind. It's not just arbitrary. It is here. You're going to want to marry to learn about relationships. That's the first thing. But you might marry to gain social status, or to gain money, or to gain a sense of notoriety of some sort. Different reasons. You will marry for some ulterior reason than just being in love and having that soulmate connection. There's going to be more to it than that for you with the North Node in the 7th house. I just want to warn you guys, when you've got the North Node in the 7th house, it can leave you open to predatory people. There's a difficulty putting boundaries in place with this, and we need boundaries with other people. Not everybody is pure. Not everyone has an angelic intent towards us. And that when we have difficulty putting boundaries in place, then it can let in people who want to use us, who deceive us, who take advantage of us, who will use us for their own means and then dump us and move on to the next person. We need to be very careful when we've got the North Node in the 7th house that we don't behave that way, but also be aware that you can draw in people who behave like that towards you as well. So learn from this information and keep your eyes peeled. Act like, for example, if you're looking to work with someone and collaborate with someone, just say you're like me and you've got a YouTube channel. Do subscribe if you haven't already. But if you've got a YouTube channel and you're wanting to collaborate with someone on your YouTube channel, don't just pick anyone out of they sent me an email, I'll work with them. No, you will be pulling in people with this North Node in the 7th house energy, where there is a tendency to use you and dump you. Instead, say you're an astrologer like me, look at the charts of the people who want to work with you and collaborate you, and get other people to test them out. Make sure they're the real deal. Are they the right sort of person? Does their chart stack up? And If so, then make your move. So be very aware, act very consciously in your business dealings, your relational dealings, and your dealings with clients. The more consciously you act, the more likely you will be to sort of keep those predatory influences at bay. So that's what we see when we have the North Node sitting in the 7th house. Catch me next week when we take a look at the South Node or Cato sitting in the 7th house instead.